That's a shame. All right, so that's Benavidez part for now. Let's continue the Canelo conversation. Canelo Crawford.
Oh, mate.
Like, dude.
Canelo Crawford.
Dude.
It's... Why, oh, man, that is not... That can happen in Vegas, fair enough. It cannot happen in a normal arena.
Nah.
It has to be a stadium fight. That is too big.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the MGM, you look at the T-Mobile. They are synonymous with just big events. This is bigger than those.
Yeah,
this is bigger than all them.
This is as big. This is the fight to determine. And I mean, I know people are gonna in the comment section gonna say Inoue Usyk, but this is almost to determine who is the fighter of this generation.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just so big. Any issues whatsoever before we kind of dive into it? Will it happen? Won't it happen? Any issues whatsoever with Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes?
A little bit. Like, I mean, it's. Saying that, right, you made a very, very good point in your video. We could say, oh, Crawford's last fight was at 154. He's going up 2 weight divisions. When Alexander Usyk beat a guy who was, 6 inches taller than him and outweighed him by 50 pounds.
Yeah.
You kind of look at that and you think, well, you know,
honestly,
is this really the worst?
I'm happy you referenced it because I actually forgot I said that. But you're right. I mean, we're talking sort of pound for pound greats here.
Exactly.
Alexander Usyk didn't fight a scrub. He fought a bona fide great heavyweight in Tyson Fury and gave him 50 pounds and still got the job done. So when people talk about Crawford going up in weight, and look, Canelo's a better boxer, I guess, than Fury, but still, I mean, Alexander Usyk went up against a giant that could fight and move. So Crawford going up 14 pounds. I mean, Canelo's not a 168 guy either when you see him. I mean, he's stout and thick now, so he's kind of in that division. But really and truly, when I look at his frame, he should be fighting at 160.
And if you think about it like this, right, this is crucial. Crawford's mentioned that that's what he's really staying in boxing for. So he's going to have the benefit of not having to worry about, oh, if I put too much weight on, how am I going to get back down if I win or lose? He's thinking probably, well, this is my last fight.
So there's no Roy Jones going to heavyweight and coming back down.
If you think about it like that, because sometimes you look at a fighter and you think, well, they put on that much weight because they know that they go, he doesn't have to worry.
Wait, so you think, regardless of whether or not Crawford wins or lose, this could be Crawford's last fight. This is it.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And if that's the case, then you're thinking, well, if I normally weigh 170, I'm going to weigh 180.
You know the thing for people that always jump up in weights, when you don't have to hit a weight, I always wonder why you put on too much weight. Like if I'm Crawford, I come in at 160. I don't need to be 168. I just come in to the weight that I feel perfect at. Whether it's movement, he's not going to out-strength Canelo. I know Crawford likes to wrestle and he's strong. You're not out-strengthing Canelo. What you can do is be better fleet-footed. You can be better movement. You can land your punches, get in and out of the pocket. So I think Crawford at 160 does that better than a Crawford that tries to enter the ring near enough 180.
That's a good point. He is one of the most fluid fighters you'll ever see. A lot of fighters have quicker foot speed than Canelo, but he will have quicker foot speed. And that's a very, very good point.
Faster
if you
hands.
try faster hands, longer reach, taller, if you pack on too much weight, then you maybe bring Canelo back into it with that because you're going to slow yourself down.
Weight that you're not used to carrying. It's all well and good. But this jump for Crawford's a quick and fast and big jump. I mean, Madrimov, it wasn't like you had 4 fights at 154. No. So you got used to carrying around the extra weight. You've gone from 147 to 154 to 168 immediately. I say come in at 160, 161 and say, let's have it.
Let's have it. Use your advantage. Bit like what Usyk did. Use your advantages. All right, I'm freakishly lighter than you, but I'm faster. I'm more mobile. I've better stamina. Canelo fights in bursts. Crawford
Usyk's
won't be able to.
Best example. What an example you gave there, because Usyk, I'm fascinated by the fact that he always weighs in at 222 pounds.
It's crazy.
Honestly, I think that shows to me how much of a genius he is. He treats the heavyweight class like a weight class. Yeah. And it's not 223, it's not 224, it's 222 all the time. Apart from, I think, his first fight with Witherspoon.
He's in like the teens.
Apart from that, he's trying to gauge what is the best weight for him. And I think Crawford should look at that. Gauge what the best weight is for you, and you don't have to hit 168. To be a super middleweight, all you have to do is weigh over 160.
Exactly.
Coming at 161. Do you think it happens?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I had like a bit of reservations last year. Canelo and Turkey seemed to be, one was saying the other. That Ring Magazine Awards show, I suspect, there was a lot of kind words said. Kind words.
Can you imagine the numbers being thrown around behind the scenes? Like, because they gave me a list of people that are going to come, and Canelo's name was on the list, and I was like, Canelo ain't coming to this. Like, what are you talking about? Don't get me wrong, the rest of the list was stacked. But I was like, as soon as I saw Canelo, I was like, he's fighting Crawford.
Yeah.
Like, it just immediately, I said,
he's fighting
Crawford. Yeah, why is he here?
You are like that. He's not coming there just for a laugh. He's coming there to talk business. And just as well, if we get this fight, which I think we will, it's not just going to be Canelo Crawford. Turkey doesn't just do a big main event.
No.
So you let that sink in. This is going to be...
I mean, especially if... We're going to chuck things out at people. This might be true or not. But let's just say it's the Raiders Stadium, which I believe is around 80,000. I mean, he's going to want to land in America, Turkey, and put on the best fight card we've ever seen. He's going to want to say, okay, take this. You think you've seen big fight cards before with Don King and Bob Arum and Oscar, etc., etc. Have this. And I think it's going to be, honestly, frightening event.
He's going to put every American promoter over the last 50 years to shame in that one show. Yeah. In that one show.
It's going to be crazy. Not the biggest question, I think, about this is, Canelo always gives us September, May.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, he always fights on that May date. I think the only time he didn't do it was in the lead up to his fight against Golovkin 2, because obviously the failed drugs test.
Happened, yeah.
Whereas Crawford's been a part-time boxer. Crawford at best is giving you one fight a year. That's all he's done for the last 5 years, Crawford. So I feel like Crawford could sit it out, because that's what Crawford does. I don't like it, but Crawford could do it. Does Canelo leave that May date? Does he sit it out and wait for Crawford, or does he fight someone in May?
If I was Turkey, I would say sit it out. Even if you wanted to fight, you mentioned an Avni Yildirim type. Yeah. I would say, okay, fine, but Canelo, you've had hand trouble in the past. Injuries can happen. You don't know what could happen. You go first round or 12th round of a 12-round fight. You go in awkwardly, cut. That needs 6 months to heal. Fight pushed back 6 months. Yeah. Too much can happen.
The only reason why I think both might fight, so I'm almost sort of playing devil's advocate to what I said, is because with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, rather than matching them up straight away, he's for some reason giving them, I wouldn't even say warm-ups, because Ramirez and Broly Romero are not warm-ups. We could basically put the same argument to that. Like, why do that? Why risk it? Just fight each other. But they're having almost like semi-finals, then a final scheduled for the opening of Riyadh season in October. So I do think they might fight. I do think both. I feel like Crawford, there's something about me that feels like Crawford might want to test the waters and see what 160 or 168 looks like and feels like.
Yeah, that'd be a good shout. Doesn't have to be anyone good. Like Ryan and Devin aren't fighting anyone particularly special. It doesn't have to be anyone good, but just to get a gauge. Yeah. I think that's what they might do. I think Turkey, he's put on risky fights in the past with other fights on the horizon. Wilder, Joseph Parker, exactly. And I think he might have learned his lesson from that. If I'm dead set on a fight and I want it, if they want to go out beforehand, fair enough, but let's bring the levels down. We're not taking any risks. Yeah.
I was going to say biggest fight of 2025, obviously. I'm trying to think of a fight bigger in the last decade. I mean, Fury Usyk felt enormous. Being there, like when the referee went ding ding, that felt just like this ain't going to happen. But Crawford, Canelo, you know what it is about Crawford? Like Fury Usyk, there was always a trajectory. Yeah. You always felt like, okay, this is somehow going to happen. There was no big roadblocks. With Crawford and Canelo, because of the PBC thing, because of the weight, because of Crawford not even aligning or even talking to Turkey, he felt like it was never going to happen. The fact that it could happen now, it's the biggest fight in a decade. It's the biggest fight in a decade.
And the build up to that fight, again, it's going to be similar to Fury Usyk, the first fight. If we see them in the ring, when that first bell goes, oh my God, it's going to be just, man.
Can you imagine, like, who's going to be ringside? Like, can you imagine with the cost of the ringside seats? You're going to have like bloody LeBron James at ringside there sitting next to Taylor Swift or something. It's going to be like everyone. It's going to be the most hottest ticket in town. And look, I really hope it happens. I don't have any reservations now. I feel like it will.
I feel like it will too.
I feel like it will happen.
I feel like it's just inevitable that we're going to get. And can you imagine the announcement, the kickoff show, the trailer?
Oh my Lord, dude, you're getting me excited now. This is insane. Canelo's CV, if it has Crawford on it, win or lose, is frightening. Honestly, it's Manny Pacquiao-esque. Some might say it eclipses Floyd's. I don't know, but just in terms of names on it, I know some people, like we always try to do now. We always try to he fought him when he was this, and just have the fights. Yeah. No matter what, just have the fights. Canelo's CV in terms of names for the last decade is untouchable.
It's crazy. I mean, you look at that, and with the exception of the odd run out, and they are odd once every couple of years, it's just. You look at it, this is a guy who cleared 168 in less than a year. Yeah. Won his first belt December 20, and November 21, he's already undisputed.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that run? Because Americans Well, it's weird. Americans so split. It's maybe racial splits. I don't know. I've noticed it online. But we Brits, we gave Billy a little bit of a chance. And some thought Callum was going to do some damage. He destroyed both of them. So it wasn't scrubs. Billy Joe was unbeaten. Callum Smith was unbeaten. Caleb Plant was unbeaten. And he wiped them all. It's not the worst run in the world. And I don't even mind beating up young kids that are unbeaten like Munguia and Belanga.
Yeah.
I don't mind that because not a lot of veterans fight young kids that are upcoming. So he's knocked those off as well. Crawford's a different kettle of fish, but...
Man, Crawford it's two legends.
Yeah, it's
two legends going at it. One still has his O. One has the resume most fighters can only dream of. It's, man...
Yeah, and one is arguably top 2 pound for pound. I know the Inoue Usyk discussion, but worst number 3. And one I think is 5, 6. I mean, Canelo seemed to have slipped down without losing.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's mad. Like, well, why is Canelo? Is it because of the Benavidez thing? Like, for me, it's Usyk. For me, Usyk, Crawford, Inoue, Beterbiev. I could say Bam, Canelo, but I really should say Canelo before Bam because Canelo's done a bit more. But Canelo's no worse than 6 or 7.
At the very worst.
At the very worst.
very, very worst.
So you got 6 versus 1 or 2.
I know it's mad. We say, oh, Canelo was slowed down. When do you ever hear of a fighter slowing down and we're still saying at worst he's maybe 7th in pound for pound lists?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And again, if I examine that pound for pound list, if I really examine it, Canelo will be higher.
Oh, yeah.
Like Canelo's achievements are better than Bam's. But we just like to put new people up there for some reason.